People, you're locked in once again to the Big Bad Station, radio.com. We have a very special guest joining us, okay? So without further ado, special guest, introduce yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, man, I don't know it's Answele, and I stand from out of Jamaica, though.
Okay. So I'm interested to know about that name because it sounds like a very interesting name. It sounds like an African name, which is pure vibes. But tell us.
Yeah, it's an African European name. My dad named me.
Okay.
The meaning of it is God brought me here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Big up your dad and your mom, for real. Definitely. So, we're here to talk about your musical journey and your music and how it all came about. So, tell us, how did it all start and kick off for you?
I started doing music at a very young age, not professionally. I think the first time I ever sang in front of a big crowd was in what we call primary school. I was in grade 5, I think.
Okay.
Was the school had a little function and I sang a song, and my mom was there and she paid for me to sing again.
Okay.
So after that I started to sing more because I thought that this was something I could really do, like I'm good at this. It was a new discovery for me at that age, like yo, I can do this. And then from there I went to high school. I would do music in high school, practice. I would do festivals, competitions, which some of the times I would win, some of the times I would not, but it's still practice. And from high school, I just branched off into recording, like get go.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
It was a bit difficult at first, but just gradually getting older and meeting new people and gaining new experiences. Yeah. Okay. And I'm here now.
Okay. So, do you play any instruments?
Yeah, piano.
Piano. Okay. And so, how does that help you? How does that kind of help you as an artist playing an instrument?
It is very vital because when you hear sounds are a very big influence on songwriting. So when you hear certain sounds, the first thing you want to do is grab the piano because you're not hearing it like it's in your head. The first thing you want to do is like, where's my keyboard? And try to lay that down, lay down that progression or whatever it is. And then that's where, a song may develop from. Most of my songs are like that. Some of them. Yeah. 50%.
Okay. So
yeah, but it's very vital though.
For real. So who inspires you? Who do you kind of listen to and take inspiration from?
I have a lot. First it was Katalyst because he was the one that I discovered reggae. Because I grew up in church. I wasn't exposed to reggae music like that. I was more exposed to gospel music.
Okay.
And started hearing Taurus early, and his songs were like, it had an impact on me. It felt good. Yeah. And the way how I felt, I wanted people to feel the same way when I sing.
Yeah.
So he was the first influence, and then right now I have a lot of influence in music that I listen to, like Massacre. I listen to Massacre a lot. He's a Jamaican superstar as well. I listen to him more than any other artist, right?
Okay.
And even I started, and you have Damian Marley. Damian Marley is a very big influence to me as well.
Big up the gong, for real. So in this time, we've lost so many greats in reggae music. We've lost you, Roy, Toots, Bonnie Wailer, and the list keeps going, and it's so sad. But what do you think about those artists and what they brought to the music? What do you think about it?
I think they are the foundation, and it's sad to say that they're not here, but I think they've done a pretty good job laying down the foundation of our music, and I for myself appreciate that a lot because I have learned from them.
Yeah.
So they did a good job.
Yeah, man, for real.
Here, rest in peace, to all of them. But they served their purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. And it's interesting as well because even though they've gone in the physical, they're still here just by the music. And yeah, it's like they've gone but they're not gone, if that makes sense. Yeah, for real. Definitely. And so when it comes to music and kind of appreciating music, I know you said that you grew up in a gospel family. So how did that transition happen? Was your parents happy that you transitioned from like gospel to reggae? No.
It's hard to tell when they did, because the thing is, my dad was the hardest, shell to crack.
Okay.
Because he was, pastor in the church, but my mom knew when I was 18, I was doing recordings, and she would hear some of them on the road and from people.
Yeah.
But my dad wasn't ready to accept it. So one day he came in and he was out on the road, and somebody said to him, "I never know that his son was that good." And he stood there like, we are talking about. What are you talking about? That I don't understand what you're saying. Then he went home to my mom and he was like, "You never tell me, say, our son is doing music," or whatever he said in the moment.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You weren't interested."
Okay.
So he was the hardest. Yeah, shell to crack. But the transition wasn't difficult because I had left their house from when I was 17.
Okay.
So, and when I went to, it was all about music.
Okay. And so a lot of Jamaican households, a lot of young artists, when I speak to them, they always say that, they started in the church. No matter what, whoever the artist may be, they started in the church. And it seems to be a foundation in Jamaica. You start in the church with your family. But what does it bring? What does it bring to, a youth such as yourself? What does it bring?
The practical part of music. The church has a vital role in that, because when you're in church, you sing a lot.
Okay.
And when they find out that thing, they give you more responsibilities, and then that's where you really start. Your growth is from there, really. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. And when it comes to fusing music, and putting music together, how do you do it? How do you go about creating your pieces?
Most of my pieces are from experience.
Okay.
So, yeah. Not all of it, but most of it.
Okay.
And if I go to something, the next move after that situation, because I don't really talk to people about my problems.
Yeah.
So the next move is to write it down.
Okay.
Pen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. And do you always write down, or do you freestyle as well?
Freestyling not so.
Okay.
I do try. Like when I'm alone, I do try. It's not my major. I won't lie, but sometimes I do try to, because sometimes I will end up in situations where I'm in studio with a big superstar, or a big producer or somebody, and they're like, "Yo, give me something," and I will try in that moment, but it's not really my major though.
Okay.
I play all music.
Yeah. All right then. So you just said big superstar. Of course, we want to know which big superstar you're talking about.
I've worked with I-Octane.
Okay.
And Damian Marley mostly.
Yeah. Okay. And what was that like for you?
In terms of big producer. Huh?
I said, what was that like for you working with those two great artists?
Besides the excitement,
yeah,
it was more of a learning process for me.
Okay.
Because they've done it, and I'm a younger, I'm the younger generation, so it's more about learning.
For real. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're about to talk about the producing side. So who have you worked with so far?
The producers I know, big producer. I work with Young Paul, who I'm actually signed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know he's a Grammy producer as well, because he works with Damian and a lot more artists.
Definitely. So let's talk about that and how you kind of met up with Young Paul, because I know is he the keyboard player for Damian Marley?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, man. So he knows the music, he knows what to do. But how did you guys kind of meet up?
So here's the funny story about that. So remember I tell you that my dad was the hardest shell to crack.
Okay.
So he was the one. He was the one that knew Young Paul and his brother.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He used to do he had an association where he would license taxis, and that was his thing. And Young Paul and his brother would normally reach out to him to get their vehicle, documents started out. So one day he was on the road and he saw Young Paul's brother, and he was like, "Yo," because this is way after him find out say I'm singing now and stuff, independent, doing music. So he said to Young Paul's brother, "My son is doing music. You know, me I deal with what can you do to help him?"
Okay.
So at that point he had one of my songs, one of my demos on his phone. So he played it for Young Paul brother, who was Bam. He played it for Bam, and then Bam called Young Paul and say, "Yo, listen to this artist and and then Paul said, "Send him a number and talk to him." Paul wasn't really interested, because he was like, working with young artists is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
So it was like, "Yo," but but it took the step faith. And he reached out to me, and I sent him a few more tracks. And that's where it started from. Okay. The first time we met was maybe 1 year after.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what have you been learning? Because young artists. I'm always interested in young artists because they have the influences of now, and the influences of their parents and so forth and so on. So, what kind of influences do you bring to the table when you are both there?
Influence I bring.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I'm rooted in two different genres really. Because I grew up in gospel, where it's all about God, and then branching out to doing reggae. So my influence is just realness. That's what I bring to the table.
Okay.
Just realness. You won't see me doing the fake things, and not saying it doesn't work for other people, but that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm rooted and grounded in being real. Yeah.
For real. So when it comes to that, being real, tell us about some of your music and how kind of some of the tunes and how well they've gone down with the listeners out there.
So I have a new track out right now, which is doing more than my previous tracks. All my tracks did their thing, but this one has a big influence on the times that we're living in now. It's called Jason Control.
Yeah.
A lot of people have reached out and saying, "Yo, this track has really helped me to stand firm in them timing." So I deal with remix it with another Jamaican artist, Chronic Law.
Yeah.
Which is out right now also. And it's doing well. Yeah.
Definitely. So speaking of that, on your album that you've got, In Control, you've got 2 collabs on there with Chronic Law and I-Octane. How did you decide who to collab with?
This weren't my decision.
Okay. Was it your dad?
I wasn't hearing, It was more the producer. It was more Young Paul. He was the one who was saying that, "Yo, maybe get I-Octane and this one." Okay. And I agreed. Yeah. And then for the second one, I wanted to collab with somebody else, and he was saying, I'm not feeling. He was saying I'm not feeling the person that I wanted to collab with. So
okay,
we both decided on Chronic Law.
Okay, yeah, because before you spoke, then I was saying, I was just thinking, was it your dad that influenced Because
Wasn't.
that would be mad. So tell us about this EP. Tell us about this EP, In Control, and what it's all about, what you're trying to bring.
Yeah, this EP is a very good compilation of the stage that I am in my life right now. Yeah, the stage that I am in my life. It's a very good compilation of that. There's a few tracks where speaking mostly about my personal life.
Okay.
You know, like track 6 and track 7. It's more about me.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest of the tracks are like, you know, different situations that I've experienced also.
For real.
Yeah, and it's a very I love it, to be honest, because, you know, as the creator, you first have to love, you know, what I'm dealing with. But I love it though. It's a very good. When I listen to it from the start to finish, I'm actually impressed.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a nice album. I've listened to it. I've listened to a few of the tracks, and I'm feeling it definitely. The one that you spoke of before about Jai is in control. I like that one.
Yeah,
definitely. And so, tell us about the title, In Control. Do you feel like you're in control even in these kind of strange and certain times?
Yeah, the title.
Yeah.
Has a lot to do with where I am in my life right now. Even with the pandemic and all that, I'm just like, I am not going to let anything deter me from what I really want in life. So I am taking control of what I can. Because, you know, Jai is always in control, but, you know, I'm here. I'm taking control of what I can take control of.
For real. When it comes to that as well, and, you know, before, I'm sure you used to say God, now it's Jah. What do your parents think about that?
They say that Jah is in the Bible.
Yeah, so, they're good.
So in their heads, they're like, it's fine.
Yeah, true. So how did it impact you? You know, last year we went through mostly, I would say, in the UK and America, but it hit the whole world. You know, the death of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. But how did it impact yourself? Because it impacted me very hard. You know, I'm mixed, and I was like, wow, I can imagine my dad being that man. Do you know what I mean? So how did it impact you?
Actually, I when I was going through social media and seeing all the stuffs that were happening, everything just touched me to another level, because I'm also a black person, and it could have been me, because most of the times I am in America, so it could have been me also.
For real.
Yeah, so it really touched me away still.
Yeah, it's a deep topic. You know, earlier you mentioned Taurus Riley and him having a massive impact on you. But we just had the concert with Beres Hammond, Love from a Distance.
Yeah.
Did you watch it? Yeah, you watched it. And so what would you like for your future? Would you like to do something like that?
And more.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. I like that response, for real. Definitely. Yeah. So what's...
He's a trier.
Yes, Beres. Yeah, man.
A trier.
Definitely. And, you know, Buju was there, Marcia Griffiths. But, you know, what I really liked, I don't know about yourself, was Popcorn was there with Beres. And it was like the new generation, such as yourself. And, you know, we got the elder there showing him the way. What was your feelings about that?
I felt the unity at that moment. I was like, yo, this is what I want to see in the music. Yeah. You know, I want the older generation, you know, paying attention to the younger generation and teach us what we don't know. Yeah, I felt good. I felt really good. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need. Yeah, definitely. It was a good for me. So, speaking of that, you know, speaking of coming together and all these things, you know, a lot of the music seems to be criticized, especially reggae, because, you know, we've got the newer generation putting their flavor onto it.
and, you know, changing the sound a little bit. But what's your thoughts about it?
I think the world is changing. The world has changed.
Yeah.
So you're not going to expect the same thing from 10, 20 years ago. And if someone is coming to the table, he or she has to come with something different.
Yeah.
And a lot of this new generation has talent, like,
yeah,
you know, and some of the styles and patterns that they're using is still from you know, previous generations. They just tweaked it. They just did their thing with it and decided that, all right, I'm bringing something new. So I really don't mind, though, because you have to bring something new to the table. It can't be the same forever.
Yeah, for real. So, what's next for you? I know you've got your EP coming out, but what's next for you? What have you got coming up?
After the EP, I think I'm gonna start put out more singles.
Okay.
Yeah. I probably put out 4 singles for the remaining of the year.
Okay. And so
I'm just waiting on the world to open up, you know, and get to business.
Definitely, for real. I think everybody is waiting for that first concert, that first show, that first everything again. And I'm looking forward to it, for real. So how can people link up with you if they want to connect with you on socials and things like that? How can that happen?
Yeah, man, on Instagram, it's Answele. And Facebook, Answele. Twitter, it's Answele. See me? I don't really use Snapchat, but it's Answele.
Everywhere. For real. So, you know, what would you like to say to your fans, those who are listening to you now? What would you like to say to them?
My fans are the people that motivate me to continue. And I appreciate them. And I just want all of my fans to know me. I appreciate them. Love, heart of love, always.
Good man.
Me?
Yeah, I like that, for real. Blessings. So, of course, you know, we've got you on here. I can't have you on here without asking you to sing a little something. And, you know, include my name, man. I can't have you on here and not ask you to do that.
No problem. It's Answele representing for djkat. I mean, so one way we have to make it out of the slum. And no more I want and I can run. So it not really matter what them want to do, cause none of them don't know you out. Come on, the demons, them all want to feel. Hey, them no want to see you. But is in control. djkat, we say one way we have to make it out of the slum. One way we have to make it out of the slum, yeah. Oh.
Easy. Yes, you know what? It's been a blessing and a pleasure to speak with you. And, you know, I'm looking forward for people to just get to know you and who you are. So keep it going, man. I respect everything you're doing, for real. Yeah, man. Blessings, yeah?
All right.
Speak soon. Bless up. Bless.